This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for adults with migraine with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents, on average, 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Ask your doctor and visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
You're listening to Saucepans and Sidesteps.
Hello and welcome to the Saucepans and Sidestep podcast, the Scarlets fan podcast. We've got a very special episode for you today. My name's Hugh and I am joined by Scarlets and former Wales under-20 scrum half, Archie Hughes. Archie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good to be on you.
Yeah, we're absolutely delighted to have you. I hope our listeners really enjoy this one. It's going to be a special treat for them. So, first of all, how's it feeling to be back? Obviously, you were looking great in pre-season, unfortunately pulled up in the Leicester game, which I was at. So I saw you on the pitch looking quite frustrated, I must say. So back in Bayonne, how are you feeling? How's your injury? Did you enjoy being back out there?
Good, yeah. I mean, it was my first proper injury. Haven't really had anything like that in the past. So it was kind of a bit of a shock to the system, especially, like you said, like going pretty well in pre-season, enjoying that side of it, and looking forward to starting the season, really. Maybe, hopefully getting quite a bit of game time. But, everyone sort of goes through that at some point in their career, a few times. So I just kind of accepted the fact that it was what it was and kind of used the opportunity to just look back and how I appreciate the game a bit more, not being able to train with the boys and play. It kind of made me realize like how much, I missed being involved in all of that. So, but then, yeah, like you said, being back out in Bayonne was great. It was good to have those, those match day nerves again and the excitement, the build up, and being able to get out on the pitch then for, a decent amount of time was a proud moment for me and my family, just to be able to get back out there and get into the swing of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any pre-match superstitions, any routines that you go through?
Not really, no. Got some lucky pants now, actually. Just recently come in for Bayonne. But not really, to be honest. I remember hearing Con McGregor say once, he said, superstitions are another word for fear. So I try to stay away from it, but
Oh, I like it. I like it. Fighting talk. So on the Bayonne game then, so it's a kind of another game that we've had this season where it's fallen short by just a point. And if Bayern have been flying high in the top 14 already this season, so that's the closest anyone's run them at home this season. But what's the vibe like in the camp after that one? Was it kind of we should have won that, or?
yeah, definitely. It's mixed because there was a lot of good stuff in that game. Like we were under the pump for the first sort of 20 minutes, defending a lot of that game in the first part. And you like we say it quite a lot. We can't fault the boys' effort. Like it's always there, the fight to stay in the game. like Bayonne losing, by a small margin. Same with Glasgow, Benetton first game, same sort of thing. So I think it just shows coming from last year, like we have improved quite a lot just being in those games. But I think now it's just about realizing how we can, succeed then towards the end and make sure that, well, we get the win, which is the most important thing. So, like I said, yes, it's mixed feelings because we know there's a lot of positives, but at the end of the day, we haven't quite, finished off in the end. So it's definitely an improvement of ours we're trying to work on now.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe from the fans at the moment is you're going into games a bit nervous and then we're coming out of them saying, "Oh, gutted not to win that," but the fans are kind of happy to be gutted at the moment. Just as you say, like the improvement from last season and saying, well, there was a bit worried about what might happen in this game, but we've come out of it thinking we should have won, which, as you say, is just massive progress. That the fans are definitely on board with what this team is doing.
Yeah, it was great to see all the fans out there actually, like in Bayonne. I think it was like a good 300 odd that come out. So like that's just amazing for us, and to be able to have them, behind us all the time is really good. It really gives us a boost. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, getting to know you a bit then. So, tell us about your rugby story then. So, as I understand, you started down in 10B and you've come through Carmarthen Quins and things and ended up at the Scarlets. So, just take us through your rugby career, your rugby journey, and how you've ended up sat in front of us here today.
Yeah, so my dad played a lot of rugby in his time when he was younger, in 10B and onto uni and Welsh colleges, that sort of thing. And so I kind of just followed on from where he started really in 10B. He coached me through when I was about, in the sixes all the way through to sort of youth level, and grateful to be able to do that when I was younger, and just, always taught me just to enjoy my rugby, which is something I've carried on, all through my career really so far. I moved to Llandovery College then, which was a really high-based rugby environment. You should live and breed rugby there, like constantly just
Yeah.
being up there. So I played a lot of rugby. We go to school and then we'd be still out playing touch rugby at like 9 o'clock at night and then have to go to bed. So it's that sort of thing was great for my development, I think. And yeah, just came through the pathway then really with the Scarlets. Went through Mynydd Mawr, county level, and then got picked up for the under 16s, into the combined, and then eventually then, got my first sort of contract at 18 and slowly, gone up the ladder since then.
Yeah, great stuff. Of course, Llandovery picked up another title last week, but it's great to hear that you're just a rugby obsessive and you love playing rugby. Do you boys like professional rugby players watch a lot of rugby? Because obviously you're living and breathing it. Do you watch I don't know, say if South Africa or New Zealand are playing, do you get into that, or do you sometimes think, "Oh, I could do with a day off rugby"?
I think everyone's different. I think some people, would watch rugby all the time. I think for me, especially like Peely mentions to me quite a lot to make sure to watch a lot of games and like nines and specifically just pick up different things on their game. So I think it's quite important for your development. And like obviously the game now is becoming far more technical than what it was. So watching more and more rugby is obviously going to improve your game. So I do enjoy watching it, and whenever there's a game on, I will try and watch it. Yeah, definitely.
What nines are you enjoying watching at the moment then? I'm guessing obviously DuPont will be one, but do you like, I don't know, Cam Roygard, maybe someone like Grant Williams? I don't know, I'm putting words in your mouth.
Yeah,
Who are your favorites to watch?
there's so many about now, like growing up, it was always sort of the usual sort of Aaron Smith, Conor Murray, but then coming through now, like a lot of nines are just, they've got their own sort of talent within their game. Roygard, like you said, he's up and coming now. Great fundamentals of his game. Obviously, DuPont's a given, really. The way he plays the game is just a bit of a freak. Um, who else do I like? Yeah, Grant Williams for his pace. So there's a lot, and Gibson Park actually is someone that I like to watch and learn from his game. I think he's excellent in his sort of game management, and just his vision in the game is like I think probably the best out there, to be honest. So I like watching him as well.
So you'll have obviously played against a couple of those boys now. So you started against Conor Murray, didn't you, when we played the Munster at home last
Yeah,
season?
Yeah, it's not again.
Was what's it like? Do you follow him around asking for his jersey afterwards?
No, I was gonna ask for a photo, but I thought I'd get the mick taken into me. Didn't bother, but no, yeah, definitely that was a bit weird because I remember when I was younger, I used to watch his, his sort of his tribute videos on YouTube, or whatever, before games and stuff like that. And he was quite a, a bit of an idol for me. So to be able to go out there and face him was pretty cool.
So
Definitely.
you've always been a nine then. You never looked at any other position. You've always been a scrum half.
Yeah, always been a scrum half. My dad said to me, because I probably would have been about 3 foot when I first started playing, and he just said, you're going to be a nine. So I was, it's,
Well, it's turned out all right, so good call, Dad. But obviously, you played against some Lions scrum halves, but you coached by a former Lions scrum half as well. So, what's that like? Do you having your head coach be in your position? Do you feel like he's watching you more than he's watching everybody else?
at times, yeah, I definitely, feel that he observes quite a lot of what I'll do in training, and I am very lucky to be able to have that, especially as him just being the main coach in general, but being able to have his expertise because he's been there, done that. So he's always constantly giving me advice on different things. So, I'm trying to learn as much as I can from him. In terms of my game, I think it's great for my development. I'm very grateful to be able to have that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you got injured, I remember there was a supporters evening, and he said, yeah, he was disappointed that you got injured, so he's obviously very excited about seeing you out there. So that's great to hear. And of course, you've got another Lion scrum half in the squad with you as well, and you've had Kieran Hardy around. So what's it? It's been quite a high performance environment to be a Scarlets scrum half, not just in recent years, but pretty much forever.
Yeah, definitely. I think like for me, like I've always said, like a lot of people would ask me like who was my favorite nine growing up, and it probably was Gar, to be honest. Um, I like the tenacity of his game and how much energy he brought on the park and the confidence he had. So try to take that sort of into my game a bit, and again to be able to not only have Peely there, but to be able to have Gar there as well is great for me. And then, got Ev there as well now, who's competing hard. So it's just a healthy, competitive environment. I think that's what you want. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. Has Gareth Davis been giving you tips on how to look good with your shirt off?
No, 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 no.
We'll move on from that one then. So, Uh, obviously, when you talk about halfbacks, you talk about halfback pairings, and someone that you've played a lot with, whether it be with Carmarthen, is Charlie Titcombe. So we haven't seen tons of him in a Scarlets jersey, but tell us about your partnership with him and what kind of attributes he brings as a player.
Yeah, so Charlie he's just a complete rugby head. He won't stop talking about rugby on his days off. I imagine he'll be sitting on his sofa watching training from like 3 months ago or something probably. He watches it all the time. So to be fair to him, he's very committed in that sense. You can just tell he loves the game. He loves playing the game. And he's a competitive player, very competitive. In training, especially. He's constantly everywhere. His energy's good. Wise player as well, I would say. He's quite smart in the way he plays the game. Um, whether that, his game management, his kicking, etc. It's really good, and he's constantly working on his game. Like I find myself a lot now doing a lot of little extras with him, start of the week, end of the week. Just little bits, getting passing in or kicking with each other, game scenarios, that sort of thing. So it's really good to be able to do that with him. He's a smart player and he's got a lot of knowledge behind him.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. So looking ahead to this weekend, then back in the park, Sunday for Black Lion. Fair to say that there's something to put right against Black Lion this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I think maybe last year we probably didn't quite respect them enough as a team. We didn't know too much about them, and they obviously, turned us over in the end last year. So I think, we own one in that sense, and to be able to have that opportunity again at home is definitely something we're going to be going after. And we know what they're like. The Georgians, they're coached, by that sort of environment, the Georgian environment, and they've got a lot of internationals in that squad, and they're big physical boys as well, so we know it's going to be a challenge in that sense. And yeah, I definitely don't think it'll be an easy game, but I like to say we prepared well, and we're looking forward to the opportunity at home. Definitely.
Yeah, the 23 that's been put out looks very strong, very excited to watch it. You're obviously starting on the bench. Are you a good bench player, or are you sat there just going, put me on, put me on, put me on?
Obviously, I think obviously you want to be starting. That's, I think everyone would want to be starting. But for me, coming off the bench, I don't see as a negative. I see as a positive because I'm able to, depending on the context of the game, be able to bring tempo or game management. But for me, with them on the weekend, I like to bring a bit of tempo if I come on and really take it to them with the energy, especially seeing as against Bayonne, I kind of hoped I'd have that opportunity, but it was a bit more, a bit more of a tight game. So it was a bit different in that sense. But to be able to have a crack, but hopefully now this weekend I get a few opportunities and able to bring a bit of tempo to the game, hopefully.
Yeah, and you're looking forward to playing in front of the Scarlets fans for the first time this year?
Yeah, definitely. I can't really remember the last game I had at home. Would have been last year, yeah. So, I'm looking forward to that. And like I said earlier, it's great to have the fans there. So hopefully they'll be there in good spirit, which I know they will be, and really looking forward to that in front of them, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then. So we're on to the last bit of the interview now, where we do the quick fire questions. So this is one or two word answers, quick fire. First thing that comes to your head. It's not complicated stuff. So here we go then. So first one, tea or coffee?
Tea,
Early bird or night owl?
night owl,
Reset the scrum or tap and go?
tap and go.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Super speed,
If you could be any animal, what would it be?
probably a falcon.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so you've already said that your favorite player growing up was probably Gareth Davis. Favorite non-scrum half when you're growing up?
Damien McKenzie,
Nice, nice. I hope I get to see you play against him one day. Last meal on earth, what would you choose?
Chateaubriand steak.
Yes, and go out on a high. And finally, if you could pick three dinner party guests to have around, who would you choose?
I go two rugby and one non-rugby. I go DuPont, Damien McKenzie, and Tom Cruise.
That's a good selection. I'm liking that selection. That non-rugby choice, very, very spicing it up, I think. Okay, that brings us to the end of all the questions that I had to ask you, Archie. Thank you so much for spending time. If people have enjoyed watching this chat, then please subscribe to the YouTube channel, or if you've listened on audio, give us a 5-star review. It really helps us to grow. And enjoy watching Archie against Black Lion on the weekends. Cheers.
Cheers.
That was Saucepans and Sidesteps. Please rate, review and share on socials if you can, and join us again next week for more of the same. And until then, enjoy your rugby.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.